everyone, thanks for joining me. So basically I've been tagged, which means I'm wearing an electronic device and I can't leave the house, similar to Ant-Man in Ant-Man and Wasp. You guys probably all know what that means. Somebody named me to share 3 hobbies that I do instead of model making, and Fred Henry very kindly nominated me as one of his choices. So what I'm supposed to do is tell you about 3 hobbies that I do outside of model making, and then I nominate 3 other people, where I may have to bend the rules and go for 4. I hope that's okay. So the first hobby is probably no surprise, because a lot of the models I do are military, and so the first hobby is history. I enjoy reading about history. I enjoy visiting places of historical interest, and I enjoy local history. So for instance, when I used to do wargaming, I used to play a lot of ancients with the 15mm scale. Sorry, 15mm figures, they're 1/100 scale. And so I would use figures for the Roman period, I would use figures for Alexander the Great period. And I think it happens with a lot of wargamers that you've got a set of rules, you use these armies, but then it kind of piques your interest as to what the conflict was all about, why it came about, and who was involved, and possibly the strategies. And on occasions I would try and make my armies as historically accurate as possible for a particular battle. So there's that. Obviously the other thing is that I visit a lot of historical places. I've been very fortunate to get over to France on 4 different occasions to visit Normandy. I've been to Ypres twice to see the Commonwealth War graves, and also some of the battlefields over there. Sorry guys, my phone ran out of memory. So I've also managed to get over to Jersey and see the fortifications that were created during the occupation of that island. So it's all a mixed bag really, the whole history thing for me. The second hobby that I've got is Lego minifigs. Now, if you can imagine every minifig that Lego has released, if I was to collect all those, there wouldn't be enough space to move around his house. So I've had to restrict the minifigs that I do collect. Now, initially it was just Marvel minifigs and DC, because I really enjoy the films, and I used to read the comics when I was younger. But when Lord of the Rings came out, I then expanded it to include Lord of the Rings figures. And the other thing I've expanded it to is some of the series that Lego do. So for instance, I think the last series that they did, series 18, where they do 18 figures and you just collect them and complete the series. Obviously it can be quite an expensive hobby. If you're buying the Lego box sets, for instance, you're looking at, just supposing there are 3 figures in the box set that you want, then you're looking at least £25. Now, I don't keep duplicates. All I do is I want the different iterations of each figure. So for instance, each different Batman, each different Spider-Man, and so on. To give you some idea of one of my collections, I'll just show you my Lord of the Rings figures that I got when they were released. So here they are, quite a few of them. I just had to get these out the drawer. I'd forgotten how many there were actually. But as you can see, we've got mainly the bad guys here. Some of the good guys over here and over here, but there'll be several variants of Frodo. For instance, there's one down here, and then there's one over here. There'll be, I think there may be 2 or 3 different Elrons down here. We've got a Sam there. We've got the King of the Dead there. I think that's a Meriora Pippin, Rider Rohan, Urukai, Saruman. That's the Witch King, I think, when he appears on Weathertop. I've just, there's Aragorn up there, Gimli, Gandalf the Grey. Now, I didn't get Gandalf the White because he was released in a set that was £200. I think it was the Tower of Orthanc, and as a consequence, I wasn't able to get him. I think he's the only figure from the Lord of the Rings range that I haven't got. So this, in comparison to my Marvel and DC collections, is small. If you can imagine all the different Iron Man suits, all the different Batman suits, especially when they did Lego Batman movie, when Robin's trying all the different suits on. If you can imagine all them being released by Lego, that's quite a few. So it can be quite expensive. What I have done with some of the figures I wanted to get is I've gone to people who actually just sell the minifigs, and I've bought them from them, as opposed to buying the box sets myself, because I'm not particularly interested in the vehicles, although I have got the 1960 Batcave, which include the Batmobile and the helicopter and the motorbike, and I have recently bought 4 sets, because I was thinking of bringing the Lego minifigs onto my channel, just to do a very quick showing of the box, showing of the stuff built up, and whether the figures that you get are different iterations to what we've had previously. So that's my second hobby. Right, so on to my third hobby, and this one is quite a personal one. Don't worry, it's not that personal. Since I think it was 2014, coincidentally when the same year that my mum passed away, I suddenly developed the urge to write poetry. Now it's rhyming poetry, it's not very technical. And the interesting thing is that my mum used to do it as well, just short verses. So over the last 5 years, I think I've produced about 30 poems, and I've shared these with, obviously, my kids and the wife, and they're very supportive, as are my friends at work, Tim, Imran, Pat, and Kathy. They at least make the right noises, shall we say. Now, unfortunately, this is a bit hit and miss. As you can imagine, 30 poems in 5 years, it's hardly, they're hardly rattling off. And if I confess, most of the time, or half of them at least, they're quite, can I say, quite depressive. I will find myself in a depressive mood, and then I will suddenly have the inkling to do a poem. I have selected 3 that aren't depressive, hopefully. Now, anything can spark it off. An event, even watching a film. I remember watching a film once and I was fine, although I had had a couple of beers, and I was fine, and then suddenly something happened in the film, and I just lost it. I got very emotional, and sorry guys, I'm really having problems with the memory on my phone at the moment. So we're saying that even a film can sometimes just trigger a poem. A place I visit can trigger a poem. A memory can trigger a poem. So as I say, I've got 3 here that I was going to read here, and here we go. So the first one's called Christmas. which ties in nicely with Monty being Father Christmas, which I just thought was absolutely awesome, fantastic. Anyway, here we go. They tell me that Christmas is just for girls and boys. It's commercial and fake, full of baubles and toys. But to all that express such words, I have to make it clear. Christmas is a special time, and I still hold it dear. The memories and laughter, the gifts under the tree, the tinsel and the magic are all still special to me. The memory of loved ones no longer with us, who passed on their joy for the season and their love of Christmas. So call me a fool, silly and weird. I still believe in the guy with the red suit and the white beard. Okay, so that's the first one. Next one, this one's got a bit of a weird ending. It's supposed to be funny, but I don't know whether it works, but here we go. It's called My Wife. I close my eyes and picture your face, smiling at me with beautiful grace. Your eyes are hazel, they sparkle in the light, mischievous and loving, a beautiful sight. Your hair is long and dark brown. Are you wearing it up? No, better down. It smells like a meadow in the sunshine, and to the touch it feels so fine. Your lips are pink, shaped in a smile. A moment please, let me linger for a while. In my mind's eye, I step back and admire. Of this vision before me, I will never tire. Slowly I open my eyes, and still I see your face, there before me in this time and this space. You grin at me and ask, where did you go? I smile back and say, don't be bloody nosy. So that's that one. Now this one was created from a memory, to be honest, a memory of standing on Aramonge Beach in France, and I wanted to put something together the way, just as a memory, just as a memorial, if you like. So it's called The Beach. Can you imagine what they saw when they landed at this shore? Ramp crashed down into the surf. Man, those lads held their nerve. Pals falling left and right. They run on in dreadful fright. Shouted orders, get off the bloody beach. Cover ahead is what they must reach. Leaping they go from hole to crater. No time to stop, time for that later. The enemy's fire seeks your death. Running, gasping, you fight for breath. The last 100 yards would have made men proud if it had been done in front of a stadium crowd. But the prize here is to be one of the few who landed. But the prize here is to be one of the few who landed on this beach and made it through. I now look out upon the beach they call. I now look out on the beach they call Sword and offer a prayer to the Lord. Father, I will remember these brave men. In your arms may they find peace. Amen. So that's it, guys. That's the 3 hobbies I've chosen to share with you. Obviously there's this, which is an interest, beer. It would be more of a hobby if I actually made it myself, but I tend to just enjoy drinking it and tasting the different flavours in English ale, British ale. Other interests are archaeology. I've never actually done it myself, but I just love the idea of finding things that have been, in the ground for thousands of years, and just somebody finding it after it had been lost. I also like looking at the night sky, which I think some of you have shared. So I think that about wraps it up. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you managed to stay to the end, I do appreciate it, and well done. I give yourself a clap on the back. I've got to pick 3 people, but I can't. I'm going to have to make it 4 because it's just a bit difficult. So two of the lads are currently not very well, and I hope they can post a video. and one of the other guys is basically recovering from illness, and I hope he can do one. That is a video, not clear off. Greg Reilly is one. Steve Mottram is another one. John Parker, I would like to hear your other hobbies, mate. And my final one is Peter of Peter's Plastics. I would like to hear what other hobbies you've got. Anyway, guys, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.